Have you ever felt that you know you want something more, but you don't know what it is? Or worse, do you know what it is, but the success of YouTubers and TikTokers makes you think you're wrong? The trap of the social algorithm has pulled you away from your personal legend, and now you're shipwrecked in a sea of other people's success without knowing how to reach your own. Decades ago, Paulo Coelho wrote a parable that feels as if it were written for today: The Alchemist. And to me, this is a book that absolutely must be read. Or if you prefer listening to it, that's also a great option. Because in a world where other people's success pulls you away from your own path, where feeling lost seems more common than ever, The Alchemist becomes a reflection of our own story. The story of the alchemist is told through the eyes of a young shepherd who has a dream about a treasure he must seek at the pyramids of Egypt. And this becomes the beginning of his search for his personal legend. Through the eyes of the boy, we discover that the journey to find our personal legend is not a straight line, but a path full of mirages. But what captured my attention the most, and what I would most like to focus on in this summary, are the different people the boy meets along the way. Because each of them represents the fears that pull us away from our own personal legend. The first representation is the baker. The second is the crystal merchant. The third is the Englishman. And the final representation is Fatima. When the boy meets the baker, he encounters someone who abandoned a dream, the dream of traveling. For the baker, the scale tipped toward money and status. The baker represents the illness that affects so many people. He is the one who prioritizes what society expects of him over what his soul is asking for. The baker will always look toward the horizon wondering, what if I had tried? How many times have we asked ourselves that same question? How many times have you felt the urge to follow your instinct? To leave behind who you are now in order to pursue who you have always wanted to become? And the moment you try to take a step, a great barrier stops you. What will other people say? Then comes the crystal merchant, who was one of my favorite characters of the book. He had the dream of traveling to Mecca, but he never did. Not because he couldn't, but because he was terrified of discovering what would happen afterward. He had turned his dream into something so great that living without achieving it became more comfortable than actually trying. Because as long as the dream remains a dream, there is always hope. But if you pursue it and it turns out not to be what you imagined, then what? How many of us live like this? Afraid of chasing that project, that dream, and somehow ending up failing? Afraid that we might fall apart along the way? That the restaurant we want to open might end up closing? That the house we want to invest in might become more of a headache than a blessing? Then comes the Englishman, the man obsessed with learning the secrets of alchemy. He represents those who seek answers only in theory. He reads books. He studies. He analyzes. He accumulates knowledge. But he does not understand that true wisdom is also found in living. This happens to us so often today. We consume podcasts, motivational videos, courses. We know so much and act so little. Many call it analysis paralysis. We analyze so much that we end up frozen, doing nothing, even though we know exactly what we should do. And still, we don't do it. We fail to realize that not only theory but experience itself is vital to our learning. And we cannot reach our personal legend without experience. And finally, we have Fatima, who represents love, and how it can pull us away from our personal legend. Should true love be an obstacle on your path? Many people abandon their journey for love. They believe that loving means renouncing themselves. They leave behind their dreams. They lose their essence. They abandon who they are in order to make that love fit. But Fatima does not represent a love that limits. She represents true love, the kind that pushes you forward. The kind that does not ask you to abandon your personal legend. Because real love does not take you away from who you are destined to become. It brings you closer. Sometimes we leave behind goals, projects, or dreams out of fear of losing someone. We change who we are. We lock away our essence in the deepest corners of our being just to be loved. And then, somewhere in the distant future, you begin to feel resentment toward that love for having led you to imprison your soul. What once seemed sweet and everlasting turns bitter and unbearable. For true love, the right thing is not to stop growing. It is to grow alongside the person who truly loves you. After meeting all these different representations of what pulls you away from your personal legend, the book reaches its great revelation. After the boy crossed the desert, overcame fears, lost everything, and grew as a person along the journey, he discovers that the treasure he had been searching for, the very purpose of his personal legend, had been close to him from the very beginning. It was practically in the place where he started. And this is perhaps the most beautiful lesson of The Alchemist. Sometimes what we are searching for is not far away. It is within us, but we could not see it at the beginning. The journey, the learning, the setbacks, the suffering, the love, all of these are necessary for maturity. All of them are part of our personal legend, because it was never only about finding the treasure. It was about becoming the kind of person capable of recognizing it. Many times we think we are lost, that we are going in circles while others move forward, that we are stuck, drifting with no objective in sight. But maybe you are not lost. Maybe you are in the process. Maybe all those experiences, mistakes, disappointments, and changes are exactly what you need to evolve. Life does not always show you the answer at the beginning. First, it transforms you, and then it reveals the path. Perhaps your personal legend has been close to you this entire time, but you needed to live enough to be able to see it, so do not fear the journey. Because growth does not happen when you arrive. It happens along the way.